नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं तदोदयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2. The Lord in the Heart. श्रीसुक उवाच एवं पुरा धारणायात्मयोनिर्नष्टां स्मृतिर्प्रत्यवरुध्य तुष्टात् तथा ससर्जेदम् अमोघदृष्टिर्यथा पेयात् प्राग् व्यवसाय बुद्धिः। Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, formerly, prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virata Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus, he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. शाब्दस्य हि ब्रह्मणस्येष पन्था यन्नामभिध्यायति धीर अपार्थैः परिभ्रमंस्तत्र न विन्दते अर्थान् मायामये वासनया शयानः. The way of presentation of the Vedic sounds is so bewildering that it directs the intelligence of the people to meaningless thinking things like the heavenly kingdoms. The conditioned souls hover in dreams of such heavenly illusory pleasures, but actually they do not relish any tangible happiness in such places. अतः कविर्नामशु यावत् अर्थः स्यायद् अप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः सिद्धे अन्यर्थार्थेन यथेत तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः. For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. सत्यां क्षितौ किं कशिपो प्रयासैर्बाहु स्वसिद्धेः उपबर्हनैः किं सति अञ्जलौ किं पुरुदान्न पात्रा पात्र्या दिग्वल्कलादौ सति किं दुःखुलैः. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? क्षीराणि किं पतीय सन्ति दिशन्ति भिक्षां नैवाङ्घ्रिपि नैवाङ्घ्रिपाः परभृतसरितो अपि अशुष्यन् रुद्धा गुहाः किम् अजितोऽवति नोपसन्नान् कस्मात् भजन्ति कवयो धन दुर्मदानान्. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees, which exist for maintaining others, no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers, being dried up, no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard earned wealth? एवं स्वचित्ते स्वत एव सिद्धा आत्मा प्रियोऽर्थो भगवान् अनन्तः तं निर्वृतोऽन्यथार्थो भजेता संसारहेतुपरमंश्च यत्र. Thus, being fixed, one must render service unto the super soul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency, because he is the ultimate, almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited. He is the ultimate goal of life, and by worshipping him, one can end the cause of conditioned state of existence. Kastam tva anadritya paranuchintam rite pashum asatim nama kuryat pashnan janam patitam vaitaranyam swakarmajam paritapan jushanaham. Who else but the gross materialist will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non permanent names only, seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as the consequence of accruing the result of their own work? केचित् स्वदेहान्तर्हृदया वक्षासे प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तं चतुर्भुजं कञ्जरताङ्गशङ्खं गदाधरं धारयणया स्मरन्ति. Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club respectively. प्रसन्नवक्त्रं नलिनायतेक्षणं कदम्बकिञ्जल्कपिशङ्गवाससं व्यसनं महारत्न हिरण्मयाङ्गदं स्फुरन्महारत्नकिरीटकुण्डलम्. His mouth expresses his happiness, his eyes spread like the petals of a lotus, and his garments, yellowish like the saffron of a kadamba flower, are bedecked with valuable jewels. His ornaments are all made of gold, set with jewels, and he wears a glowing headdress and earrings. उन्निद्रहृत् पङ्कजकर्णिकालये योगेश्वरास्थापितपादपल्लवं श्रीलक्ष्मणकौस्तुभरत्नकन्दरम् अम्लानलक्ष्म्या वनमालयाचितम्. His lotus feet are placed over the whorls of lotus like hearts of great mystics. On his chest is the Kaustubha jewel engraved with a beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. विभूषितं मेखलयाङ्गुलीकैर्महाधनैर्नूपुरकङ्कणादिभिः स्निग्धामलाङ्कुचितनीलकुण्टलैर्कुन्तलैर्विरोचमानानन हासपेशलम्. He is well decorated with an ornamental wreath about his waist and rings studded with valuable jewels on his fingers. His leglets, his bangles, his oiled hair curling with a bluish tint, and his beautiful smiling face are all very pleasing. अदीनलीला हसिते क्षणोल्लसद् भ्रूभङ्ग संसूति संसूचित भूरि अनुग्रहम् ईक्षेत चिन्तामयम् एनम् ईश्वरं यावन्मनो धारणायावसिष्ठते. The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of his smiling face are all indications of his extensive benedictions. One must therefore concentrate on this transcendental form of the Lord as long as the mind can be fixed on him by meditation. एकैकशोऽङ्गानि धियानुभवेत् पादादियावत् दशितं गदाभृतः जितं जितं स्थानम् अपोह्य धारयेत् परं परं शुध्यति धीर यथा यथा. The process of meditation should begin from the lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face. The meditation should be concentrated upon lotus feet, then the calves, then the thighs, and in this way higher and higher. The more the mind becomes fixed upon the different parts of the limbs, one after another, the more the intelligence becomes purified. यावन्न जायेत परावरेऽस्मिन् विश्वेश्वरे द्रष्ट द्रष्टरि भक्तियोगः तावत् स्व sorry तावत् स्थवीय पुरुषस्य रूपं क्रियावसाने प्रयतः स्मरेत. Unless the gross materialist develops a sense of loving service unto the Supreme Lord, the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds, he should remember on or meditate upon the universal form of the Lord at the end of his prescribed duties. स्थिरं सुखं चासनम् आस्थितो यतिर्यदा जिहासुरिमम् अङ्गलोकं काले च देशे च मनो न सज्जयेत् प्राणान् नियच्छेन् मनसा जिताशुः. O king, whenever the yogis desire to leave this planet of the human beings, he should not be perplexed about the proper time or place, but should comfortably sit without being disturbed, and regulating the life air should control the senses by mind. मनस्वबुद्ध्या मलया नियम्य क्षेत्रज्ञ एतां नियते तत् आत्मनि आत्मानम् आत्मानि अवरुध्य धीरो लब्धोपशान्तिर्विरमेत कृत्यात्. Thereafter, the yogi should merge his mind by his unalloyed intelligence into the living entity and then merge the living entity into the supersoul. And by doing this, the fully satisfied living entity becomes situated in the supreme stage of satisfaction so that he ceases from all other activities. न यत्र कालनिमिषां परः प्रभुः कुतो नु देवा जगतां य ईशरे न यत्र सत्त्वं न रजस्तमश्च न वै विकारो न महान् प्रधानम्. In that transcendental state of Labdhopashanti, there is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of demigods themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. परं पदं वैष्णवमात्मनन्ति तद् यन्नेति नेतेति अति तद् उत्सिष्य कवः विसृज्य दौरात्म्यम् अनन्यसौहृदा हृदोपगुह्यार्थ padam pade pade. The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that supreme situation in which everything is related with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. इत्थं मुनिस्तु परमेद व्यवस्थितो विज्ञानदृग्वीर्य सुरन्दिताशयः स्वपार्ष्णिनापीड्य गुदं ततो नीलं स्थानेषु सत्सून्नमयेजितक्लमः. By the strength of the scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which stool is evacuated with the heels of one's foot and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the six primary places. नाभ्यां स्थितं हृदि अधिरोप्य तस्माद् उदानगत्योरसितनयेन् मुनिः ततोऽनुसन्धाय धिया मनस्वी स्वतालुमूलं सनकैर्नयेत्या. The meditative devotee should slowly push up the life air from the navel to the heart, from there to the chest, from there to the root of the palate. He should search out the proper places with intelligence. तस्माद् भ्रुवोरनन्त तस्माद् भ्रुवोर् अन्तरम् उन्नयेत निरुद्धसप्तायतनो अनपेक्षः स्थित्वा मुहूर्तार्धम् अकुण्ठ दृष्टिर्निर्विद्य मूर्धन् विसृजेत् परं गतः. Thereafter, the bhakti yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then blocking the seven outlets of the life air, he should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme. यदि प्रयास्यन् नृप पारमेष्यं वैहायसानाम् उत यद्विहारम् अष्टाधिपत्यं गुणसन्निवाये सहैव गच्छेन् मनसेन्द्रियैश्च. However, O king, if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transference to the topmost planet Brahmaloka, or the achievement of eightfold perfections, travel in outer space with a Vaihashan, I don't know, one sec. Okay. Um, then he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses. Or maybe I repeat again. However, O king, if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transference to the topmost planet Brahmaloka, or the achievement of eightfold perfections, travel in outer space with the Vaihashyasas, or a situation in one of the millions of planets, then he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses. योगेश्वराणां गतिमाहुरन्तर् बहिस्त्रिलोक्यान् पवनान्तर् आत्मानं न कर्मभिस्तां गतिम् आप्नुवन्ति विद्या तपो योग समाधिबाजाम्. The transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material worlds. The fruitive workers or the gross materialists can never move in such an unrestricted manner. वैश्वानरं याति विहाय सागतः सुषुम्न ब्रह्म पत, पतेन शोचिषा विधूतकल्कोत हरेरुदस्तात् प्रयाति चक्रं नृप शैशुमारम्. O king, when such a mystic pass, passes over the Milky Way by the illuminating Sushumna to reach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, he goes first to Vaishvanara, the planet of the deity of fire, wherein he becomes completely cleansed of all contaminations, and thereafter he still goes higher to the circle of Shishumara to relate with Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. तद्विश्वनाभिं त्वतिवर्त्य विष्णोरनीयसा विरजेन आत्मनैकैः नमस्कृतं ब्रह्मविदाम् उपैति कल्पायुषो यद् विबुधा रमन्ते. This Shishumara is the pivot of or the turning of the complete universe, and it is called the navel of Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. The yogi alone goes beyond the circle of Shishumara and attains the planet Maharloka, where purified saints like Bhrigu enjoy a duration of 4300 thousand solar years. This planet is worshipable even for saints who are transcendentally situated. अथो अनन्तस्य मुखानलेन दण्डहेयमानं स निरीक्ष विश्वं निर्याति सिद्धेश्वरयुष्टदिष्ण्यं यद्वै परार्ध्यं तदुपारमेष्ट्यम्. At the time of the final devastation of the complete universe, the end of duration of Brahma's life, a flame of fire emanates from the mouth of Ananta, from the bottom of the universe. The yogi sees all the planets of the universe burning to ashes, and thus he leaves for Satyaloka by airplanes used by the great purified souls. The duration of Satyaloka is calculated 15,480,000 years. न यत्र शोको न जरा न मृत्युर्नार्तिर्न चोद्वेगरिते कुतश्चित् यच्चित्ततोध कृपया निधं विदां दुरन्तदुःख प्रभवानुदर्शनात्. In that planet of Satya Loka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxieties, save that sometimes, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. ततो विशेषं प्रतिपद्य निर्भयस् तेनात्मनापो अत्वरन् ज्योतिर्मयो वायु उपेत्य काले वायि आत्मनाकं बृहत् atmalingam. After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of gross body, and one after another he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing and airy until he reaches the ethereal stage. घ्राणेन गन्धं रसनेन वैरसं रूपं च दृष्ट्या स्वसनं त्वचैव श्रोत्रेण चोपेत्य नभो गुणत्वं प्राणेन चाकुतिम् उपैति योगी. The devotee thus surpasses the subtle objects of different senses like aroma by smelling, the palate by tasting, vision by seeing forms, touch by contacting, the vibrations of the ear by ethereal identification, and the sense organs by material activities. सभूतसूक्ष्मेन्द्रियसन्निकर्षं मनोमयं देवमयं विकार्यं संसाध्य गत्या सह तेन याति विज्ञानतत्त्वं गुणसन्निरोधम्. The devotee, thus surpassing the gross and the subtle forms of covering, enters the plane of egoism, and in that status he merges the material modes of nature, ignorance and passion, in this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. After this, all egoism is merged in Mahat Tattva, and he comes to the point of pure self realization. I see someone left a comment. Uh, can someone confirm if you are able to see or hear?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. You can see and hear.
Yeah, but we can't able to see. I mean, few can able to see. Maybe few cannot able to see the screen. I mean, we are seeing the screen of only Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes, for me also.
Okay. Now?
Yes, now we can. Now I can see.
Thank you. So we are at 31. तेनात्मनात्मानम् उपैति शान्तम् आनन्दमानन्दमयो वसाने एतं गतिं भागवतीं गतो यः स वै पुनर्नेह विसज्जेत विसज्जते अङ्ग. Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personhood of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns. एते सृष्टि एते श्रुतीते नृपवेदगीते त्वया विपृष्टे च सनातने च ये वै पुरा ब्रह्मण आह तुष्टा आराधितो भगवान् वासुदेवः. Your Majesty Maharaj Parikshit, know that all that I have described in reply to your proper inquiry is just according to the version of the Vedas, and it is eternal truth. This was described personally by Lord Krishna unto Brahma, with whom the Lord was satisfied upon being properly worshipped. न ह्यतो अन्य शिवः पन्था विशतः समस्रताव इह वासुदेवे भगवति भक्ति yoge yatho bhavet. For those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. Bhagavan Brahma Katsnyayena Trir Anviksha Manishaya Tad Adhyavasya Kutastho Ratir Atma Yato Bhavet. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, He ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the highest perfection of religion. Bhagavan sarvabhuteshu lakshita swatmana harihi rishyair buddhi adibhir drishta lakshanair anumapakaihi. The personality of Godhead Lord Sri Krishna is in every living being along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. तस्मात् सर्वात्मना राजन् हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा श्रोतव्यकीर्तितव्यश्च स्मर्तव्यो भगवान् नृणाम्. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. पिबन्ति ये भगवतात्मनः सतां कथामृतं श्रवणपुटे पुटेषु संभृतं पुनन्ति ते विषय विदुषिताशयं व्रजन्ति तच्चरणं शरणोरुहान्तिकम्. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Thus ends the second chapter of second canto entitled The Lord in the Heart. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is once again a very interesting chapter. This is telling how we can carry Lord in our heart. There is a personal form description of the Lord, that how the dhyanis, yeah, who perform Ashtanga Yoga, meditate here. So this chapter is about mentioning that the intelligent persons works only to keep the body and soul together. So the intelligence is, uh, how are we measuring intelligence? We are measuring it with IQ, EQ, so many Q's, coefficients. But what is simple definition of real intelligence is to understand that the intelligent person um, is high in his thinking. Yeah? When we say, what is it called, simple living and high thinking, when a person thinks properly, then what happens is he understands that the purpose of we engaging in activities is only to maintain this body so that we can attain our spiritual goal of our life. So this is what here we see the path of the Vedas, where one's intelligence is directed towards meaningless things like heaven, gives only temporary pleasure, like the enjoyment in a dream. This is, we can relate that very much in our own life. We always are thinking, how can I upgrade myself in this year, next year, and next year? Always looking, how can I increase my financial stability, how I can increase my name and fame, and how I can advance so that I have more comfort. So this is also goes further beyond this life, where we want a better place to live, a heaven, a place where there is all service unto us. So this is a mentality which is meaningless. For an intelligent person, it doesn't make sense. This is what. Therefore, an intelligent person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life, working only to keep one's body and soul together. What does it mean to live with minimum necessities? It is very simple. Maybe at Avadhuta level here it's mentioned Satyam Kshito Kim Ka Kashipo Prayashar. It is said that what is when earth is there, yeah, when earth is there, why do we need a cot and bed? So it goes further. Bahu swasiddhehi upabarhanaihi kim. When we have hands, why do we need pillows? Why can't we just take support of the? So in the purpose of this fourth and fifth verse is to mention that if one really want to prioritize spiritual life, it means it is still possible. Yeah, it's not that it's impossible. It's not that only if we can arrange everything, material comforts or material needs, then only we can really focus on spiritual. Krishna, here, Shukadeva Goswami is saying the need is very simple. Everything, whatever is needed, necessities are provided by the Lord. It is only that to whatever extent we can realistically attain or go to that level and practice that simplicity, one should do it. And thus, being fixed, if one worships the super soul, the ultimate goal of life, one's ignorance is destroyed and one can achieve liberation. We want liberation, but we want liberation that is what is in our reach. What is in our reach is something that, okay, I can earn, I can spend, and with that spent, I can really enjoy. Or maybe I do some pious activities. With those pious activities, I will be promoted to the next planet or better facilities or better life. But it is not that. It is that if one worships the super soul, if one worships the Paramatma who is residing inside the heart, then what happens is he will attain the real. Once ignorance is destroyed, avidya, that is destroyed, and then also he attains liberation. And this is very important. We want liberation, but we are thinking we can get it in different ways, and that is temporary relief. It cannot be compared to liberation, because the moment we are inattentive, the moment the world turns around upside down, again we go through the cycle of pain and pleasure. So seeing people suffering from their own actions, who else but the gross materialist will reject bhakti? Only if, when we don't really need so many examples, right? Just if we turn around, we see so many people who are struggling and struggling, and in the end maybe they are more comfortable, more better positioned materially, but when we really see in their lives, or at least in their feelings, then we can understand, yeah, they struggle to be happy. So that's why they find other ways of happiness in the form of what do you call, intoxication, or taking some kinds of drugs, or some kind of things through which one can forget his day long suffering, or yeah, lifelong suffering, whatever. And yeah, so only so one, when he sees people suffering, he should understand that yes, this is the reality, and to get out of this reality, is there a way? Yes, there is a way. What should we do? Here to Bhagavatam, or do what is mentioned here further. So Shukadev Goswami now continues to answer, what should a person do to attain this dharanashraya? Who is the dharanashraya? Lord Krishna. How to get it? To have a dharana. What is that dharana? It is fixed up mind, fixed up mind on the Lord. So he mentioned, of course, Virat Roop is the Dharanashraya, right? And also described Virat Roop. Now he describes further of the form of Paramatma, which is Dharanashraya for an advanced or detached yogi. So this is what. So if one advances further, he can appreciate that Lord is present in one's heart. Today I was someone of my friend, yeah. So he was posting a question: does God exist? Yeah, and then anyway, in short, it is that yeah, God exists. Of course, the person, he is seeing a picture where he was seeing a horse and a woman, and he was asking, where is God? I said the God is inside. So when one advances, then he starts appreciating at least the knowledge that the Lord exists in every being. Yeah, why? Because on the strength of the Shastra Chakshu. And Shastras, we can see here, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was saying, Pandita Samadarshina. A Pandit, a one who is knowledgeful, he understands that the soul is present in every being, and at the same time, the Lord is also present in everyone's heart. So, and Dharanashraya for advanced or detached yogi is, he resides in the region of heart. This is very, what is the size of Paramatma inside the heart is 8 inches, it's mentioned. Four hands carrying Kunja, Rathanga, Shanka, Gadha. So the Lord is present inside how Paramatma has a form. Yeah, this is what it means. Paramatma has a form. Otherwise, how can one measure the size? Is it light? We can't measure. And one may say, no, I can measure the light. Okay, but when we talk here, his features are also mentioned. There are four hands. And then there is this mouth expresses happiness, eyes like lotus petals, garments yellowish like saffron of Kadamba, bedecked with jewels, ornaments made of gold, sets with jewels, headdress and earrings glowing, lotus feet on the lotus hearts of mystics. Chest is where there is Kaustuba jewel on which there is a calf, calf's footprint. Yeah? There is a beautiful calf. Uh, Other jewels on his shoulder, toss is garlanded with fresh flowers. So all this describes definitely Lord is person, and if one is taking to this dhyana process, yeah, he's not just meditating on the mm, just the light, but actually when, of course, because we don't know, uh, that's why when we are meditating on in our heart, yeah, oh Lord, you reside. So we may not see inward, we don't have the experience, we don't have the purity. That's why we may just imagine ourselves that Lord is in the form of a light. Hmm. Then the yogis must perform dhyana by meditating on each limb and one after another from his lotus feet gradually to his smiling face. By this, the intelligence is gradually purified. But if a person has not developed such devotional inclination towards the Lord, he should meditate on the Virata Rupa. So this is what. So Virat Roop is for neophyte devotees, and when one advances and becomes a detached yogi, he is not disturbed by surroundings. Then he is able to venture into seeing the Lord within his heart. How he is doing yama to pratyahara that we saw, and then at the stage of labdopashanti means merging one's mind, intelligence and jeev super soul, one attains the supreme satisfied stage of cessation of material life. Huh? So I mean, when I'm just speaking, I'm speaking only with the sense of what is presented here. I have no experience with this, so I cannot. Um, I don't qualify myself to gloriously describe this particular part, but at least we know. Okay, if someone is practicing through what is it called, Kriya Yoga or no, so yeah, it is a genuine yoga system, but how practical it is. I mean, if you read through the purports of this chapter, you can see how Prabhupada is carefully saving us not enter into this unknown zone. Yeah, because in this we need a very qualified guru who has already attained such a state, and one should go and seek. Um, and first one has to himself qualify. There are so many things, and rather such and even better or higher result can be attained by one simply practicing bhakti yoga in the line of Dhruva Maharaj, in the line of Prahlad Maharaj, etc. So here it says about this Shat Chakra Yoga. We know this from the Mooladhara Chakra. From the anus, once we close, then the life air should be brought upper and upper and upper. From that to Swadhisthana, Mani Purvaka, and then Anahata, then Vishuddha and Agnya Chakra. And then finally, from the Brahmarandra, when his identity is completely in one sense, then from this spot it will leave, and this is how a person successfully leaves the body and attains a higher position or higher mm, the higher destination. Yeah. So after Sukadeva Goswami has described this path of Paramatma meditators, and then Sukadeva Goswami now describes the path of Virat meditators, and which gives it's what Krama Mukti, gradual. It's not just like a split second, but gradually. He says, an attached yogi attains higher planets if the yogi still has desires to enjoy Brahmaloka, to travel in outer space, or to enjoy mystic powers. Then, by Virat Rupa meditation, he will give up his gross body but will travel the higher planets in his subtle body. So this means he's not just going straight away to the spiritual world, but because he may have some sense of enjoyment which is still available in the planets, but in the universe, in higher planets, so he can go there. And then Hmm. There is anyway further explanation which is mentioned that one can reach to Brahmaloka, and each loka's lifespan is mentioned. And after reaching Brahmaloka, if the yogi desires to stay until end of Brahma's life, he attains liberation at the time with Brahma. However, if he desires liberation before that, he pierces the seven coverings of universe and enters Brahman. So this is what happens. we know that there are two kinds of dissolutions. One is a temporary dissolution which happens at the end of day of Brahma, and which means just like we can related something to our day, where when the lights are off, all activities are off, and then we just lay down, and again when the day starts, everything starts electrified and everything becomes active, animated. And so when Brahma is going to sleep, all the manifested creation goes on. It gets into Lord Brahma and stays there static. And when Lord Brahma again wakes up, then again everything comes, emanates from him, and everything starts working. So it's just like turning off and on light. So, but then there is the next dissolution, which is at the end of life of Brahma, 100 years. So, where did I? Yeah. So then he successfully passes through the layers of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then he successfully surpasses the five sense objects and sense organs. He then pierces the layer of false ego, Mahat Tattva, and Pradhan. So all this, whatever the material creation is created, made of, so the soul, this clearly gives us an evidence that we are not mm, inferior to the nature, we are superior to the nature. Why? Because we are able to get out of the remits or the limits of this material world that is created. Finally, the yogi merges into the Supreme Brahman, the Adi Purusha Mahavishnu, and does not return to this world. Tena atmana atmana upaiti santam anandam anandamayo vasane etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya savai punar nehi doesn't savai punar nehi vishajyate anga. After he leaves, he doesn't come back. So here there is these two eternal paths have been described by Lord Brahma to sorry by Lord Krishna to Brahma. One is the direct liberation attained by Paramatma meditators, and the second one is a gradual mukti attained by one who is taken to this Virat Roop meditation. And then there is further explanation about this. And then finally, Sukadeva Goswami, after saying all this, now gives his own opinion. After telling about these karma yogis, about giving about the Ashtanga yogis, he is saying the most auspicious path after these two paths is the most auspicious path for those suffering in the material world is devotional service. Nahi ato anya. He is saying there is nothing, there is no other. Nahi ato anya Shiva panta vishata samsritav iha vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. He is saying Shukadeva Goswami is saying for those suffering in this material world, best thing, most auspicious path is devotional service. This is what later we will, Shukadeva Goswami tells further with to Parikshit Maharaj how easily it can be practiced and how best it can result, which produces prema to the Lord. So devotion gives this when one is taken to sadhana bhakti, yeah, by practice regulations and yeah sadhana, one can attain prema, where which other paths are not guaranteeing that. This is verdict of the Brahma. This path which leads to attraction, Rati, the first stage of prema, for Lord Krishna is the highest. Lord Brahma is in fact saying this. Lord Brahma determined this after scrutinizingly studying Vedas for 3 times. Bhagavan Brahma Karshneya Trir Anviksha Manishaya Tad Adhyavasyat Kutastho Ratir Atma Yato Bhavet. So, but how does one see God, who is object of one's prema? How to see that? That is mentioned is the presence of the Lord in all the jivas is perceived and hypothesized by seeing and using little intelligence. If one uses little intelligence, which sometimes is a big problem, that's why people are not appreciating the animals have life, or plants have life, or others have life. Rather, because of that, people misbehave, yeah, or create himsa. Because sadhana bhakti is the most auspicious path, one should practice that. Since Lord is seen in all beings, one should hear about him to realize him. Therefore, it is said, Tasma Sarvatmana Rajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavan Nrinam. Hey King, the best thing is to do what? Again, Again and again we come across this very important message. Why? Because when we see other paths, maybe we may think, oh, it's nice. uh, it is so nice. We don't have to go to temples. We don't have to go to dham. It's so nice. We can stay at one place and do meditation. But it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, we may find the most calm place, but the calm place inside our mind is not so easy to get. Yeah, the mind is always agitated. The more and more we are exposed to so much nature, energy, the more and more we struggle to be free from that. Doesn't matter where we are. So the two main benefits of sadhana bhakti is mentioned here, which is saying those who drink the nectarian message of Lord Krishna through oral reception, pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam always, kathamrita shravana puteshu sambrtam punantite vishaya vidusitasayam vrajanti tat charana saroruhantikam. It is said the two things. One is purify their polluted aim of life. So the material enjoyment will be gone. We are struggling to give up. So many times we ask, how? I know to. It is very nice to practice bhakti, but I have so many problems. My mind is not fixed. I have that desires. I have, oh my God, how can I be saved? Huh? Just when we are hearing to Harikatha, that everything is taken care. And what will happen? This itself also gives us not just the way, it also takes us to the goal, to the lotus feet of the Lord. Yeah. Saroruhantikam. So one attains the Lord's lotus feet. Huh? So that is what is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes repeatedly by mentioned by Sukadeva Goswami. It is not that because Sukadeva Goswami is a devotee. No, if you see in the last chapter, there is also a mention that Sukadeva Goswami, after hearing the pastimes of the Lord, then he started appreciating mm, uh, the personal features of the Lord as the Bhagavatam. Yeah, before he was also, yeah. So there is so much. It is not that he's just into bhakti yoga. That's why how can we accept him? He also was a transcendentalist who was also looking the Lord in this Paramatma form and appreciating. But then he realizes that the topper and the highest is by glorifying, by hearing, kirtitavyam, shrotavyam, uh, smartavyam. So these are the ways through which one can attain the best. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Okay. Any thoughts? How was it, by the way? Anyone would like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the reading and explanation. I think this chapter had many aspects. I mean, one which is talking about some yoga kriyas, one which is talking about devotional service. So I was concentrating on what you were explaining just now, and just as an overview, can you give some brief overview on Paramatma form? You know, some says that the Lord is light, so like Brahma Jyoti, Brahman. So what are these aspects? And I know that we are not aiming for those aspects, but maybe we should know that where not to go. Maybe.
I'm just finding the purport of, yeah, I think we have covered that. There is this nice Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaneti shabdyate. This means learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth can call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. So, to your question, we can see Prabhupada mentions in the purport, yeah, it is 1211. The absolute truth is both subject and object, and there is no qualitative difference there. Qualitatively, therefore, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are qualitatively one and the same. Yeah, the same substance is realized as impersonal Brahman by the students of Upanishads, as localized Paramatma by Hiranyagarbhas or the yogis, and as Bhagavan by the devotees. In other words, Bhagavan or the personality of Godhead is the last word of the absolute truth. Paramatma is a partial representation of personality of Godhead, and impersonal Brahman is the glowing effulgence of the personality of Godhead. as the sun rays are to the sun god. Hmm? Less intelligent students of either of the above schools sometimes argue in favor of their own respective realization, but those who are perfect seers of absolute truth know well that the above three features of one absolute truth are different perspective views seen from different angles of vision. Anyway, you can read that, but the point to what you were asking, na? So it can be seen as a sun. Yeah, sun can be seen through his rays, and then through his the sun disk, and also the person who is actually the source or the cause of that light, who is the sun god. So similarly, the Lord, who is Bhagavan, who has wonderful transcendental feature, where we see Brahma Samhita, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma is reciting so many wonderful prayers, and he's saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. So first he is glorifying that form, which is actually the Bhagavan form. And then he is saying how everything is related, and he appreciates Govinda, one after the other, one after the other. So then comes this second, which is Paramatma form. The Lord is all merciful that He is always present with every person. He is always present. Every being He is there as a Paramatma. It is not just because He want to do make a notes of what all we are doing. It's not like a duty. It's not like a, what do you call this? What do you call this people who do bookkeeping? Like Chitragupta, what is his role called? Clerk. Is it clerk who maintains everything?
Like someone who writes down the minutes of meetings or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
No, I think these minutes of meetings may be little. No. Anyway, so what I want to say is that, yeah, it's not that his job is okay, he's having no feelings. Yeah. For example, you see that people, right? If there is a go down and stock is coming, you just keep writing, yeah, nothing. Yeah, you just want to go home. No. The Lord is inside our heart. Yeah. He's not just tracking what we are doing as a witness, but He is also ever ready that as soon as we turn towards Him, that He wants to give us, what do you call this, guidance, as a guru. Yeah, as a Chaitya guru, he is inside our heart to enlighten us, so that we appreciate the purpose of life and all these things. So Paramatma realization is seen in that way, and Brahman realization is that where one who is just interested in liberation from the material entanglement. Yeah, so it is that stage where one is free from the material entanglement, and which means he can only see the mm, darshan of the Lord in the form of the light. Huh? It can be seen like, just imagine, um, from a very far, if you see have you gone to Tirupati?
No, Prabhu, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, any dham, yeah, from a very far, yeah, for example, we may think that, hey, everything is one small rock. But there are these, when you come more and more closer, then you start seeing, okay, this has um, yeah, a dense forestation, and then you get more and more into the place on the hill where you have the Sanctum Sanctorium, is it right? Where you see the Virat roop of Balaji. Hmm? So we can see there is so much. Just imagine if the Lord is not there, what is the purpose of this all seven hills? Hmm? Yeah. What is significance of the seven hills? Maybe one may go just for some recreation. No. This place is becoming so prominent mainly because it is the energy of the Lord which is actually present, and it is what is actually bringing people. And after that, one is realizing further. One is realizing further. Yeah. I mean, of course, that what you are doing is you are just meditating. Yeah. I mean, as you didn't go, but maybe Satish Prabhu, who recently went, he can tell how much time will you be given to have darshan of the Lord, unless you pay 10,000 ticket. How many seconds?
Yes, Prabhuji. If it give the 10,000 rupees ticket, I think that's a good darshan, or else I think few seconds, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
too near the Dwara Balakas only.
yeah, and that too, yeah. And that's why, until then, what are you doing? You are just always internalizing yourself so that you want to see that Lord in your heart, isn't it? Huh? Then when the time comes, yeah, after having this darshan, you see the full blown form of the Lord, which you couldn't get this manifestation because of so many conditioning. Yeah.
So is it like those who aim for the Brahma Jyotis says that Brahman form, the light form of the God, are they, of course, they are not seeing the complete truth, but are they on the right track towards the truth, or like?
Mhm. The best track is to take direct escalator. Why do we want to go to staircase and then we go first floor? Yeah, yes, I reached first floor, yay, and then let's celebrate. And then the second floor is there, but I'm already tired. Let me take a break. Why to do that?
Yes, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas another thing is that one who goes to this, it is said that Brahman realization, and if one attains this Brahma Jyoti, it is like merging into the, though you have your individual identity, but you have merged yourself. So, which means you don't have any activities that you really can perform, like, for example, offering a garland to the Lord, or singing for the Lord, or cooking for the Lord. No, these kind of things are not there. So after a certain time, you feel quite bored because there is no service. Because by nature, humans are living soul is interested in doing what? Service. Then he comes down. Yeah. Coming down, of course, means now with a realized sense to practice bhakti on a, what do you call this? Full mainstream. Yeah. Mainstream devotion. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yes, now I understand. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Last question. Otherwise, we are happy to close. Okay, then thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow would be another exciting chapter. And thanks for going through chapter by chapter of this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's take shelter of it and attain uh, the mercy of Shukadeva Goswami. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। हरि हरि हरे कृष्ण।